Hey, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound, and I want to thank you for tuning in today on our video where we're going to take a look at the top 10 priciest, most expensive candy half dollars to have sold last year in 2022. Unless you weren't paying too much attention to the modern coin market, there were a lot of heavy hitting coins that sold last year. Probably one of the most record breaking of years I've seen in quite some time. And what's even more miraculous as we go into 2023, we have already a few just amazing candy half dollars that I'm sure is going to end up on this same similar top 10 list next year, a year from now. And I can't be any more excited than I am today because we're going to explore one of the coins that, well, nobody really ever uses, and people just love hunting through them. These coins have been cast away as a regular part of society, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, the coins are large and cumbersome. They're a little heavy if you have a number of them, but make no mistake, it does have a huge collector base. The registry set on PCGS and NGC being the sole beneficiaries of a lot of the finest graded specimens that you're going to see on this video today. Now, a few kind of housekeeping items I'm going to discuss before we drop into the list. Every coin is graded, so all of them are PCGS graded with exception of one coin. I'm going to outline how much each respective coin sold for and on what date. And all of these sales data that you're seeing here is coming from greatcollections.com. They seem to be the hub of a lot of the registry set coins that we have seen in just over the course of the last couple years. They've become that number one go-to spot. It used to be, you could always depend on like a Heritage Auctions for that, but Great Collections, I think, has taken the lead with a lot of these registry coins. And what else? What else are we going to talk about? Well, my fine print to all of this is if you are going to consider doing any grading whatsoever to help replicate what we're seeing here, you have to be absolutely 100% careful. Some of the most discerning collectors and graders have dipped their toe into the series, whether for the good or bad. It's, grading moderns is one of the most challenging feats that you could do in the hobby. And people certainly do lose their heads over doing so. So keep that in mind. This is not for the faint at heart, obviously. But the rewards can be pretty big. So I wanted to throw that out there. Not just anybody can do this. You really have to have an eye for detail. So if you feel like wanting to pursue something like this, make sure you buckle down and bone up on your grading. You have to be absolutely hard on yourself when you're grading these coins, because every single tiny nick or tick can make the difference of a coin grading at the highest level or one or two grade levels below that. And that's certainly not going to cut it in today's world where registry set coins are kind of being the front runner in determining the big, large prices you're going to see, especially in this video. So let's go ahead and check things out. Now, you know me, man. It's been a while since I've done a list of this caliber. And you guys know I like to throw in an honorable mention in there. So it's a top 11 list by all accounts. But yeah, we're going to start out with the one sold 90% coin, 90% silver, that is, out of the entire run. And that's this 1964D Kennedy half dollar. Pretty nice crusty example is how you would describe the toning on this particular piece. But someone probably found this one either in an album or maybe it was in an envelope, one of those little yellow manila envelopes that we are all familiar with. Those seem to be a common kind of storage item that people used back in the day to hold their coins in. But this is kind of a byproduct of that those non-archival safe type of means of storage, and you do get some pretty neat toning. So, some attractive, some not so much. This is, again, the crust on here really gives it its originality. So this particular coin right here ended up graded as a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus. And as always, we got to talk a little bit about the population numbers. This one is actually a Pop 14, which means there are 14 graded at this level, and with only one finer graded specimen out there in a 68. This one ended up selling for $3,487.50 on May 9th of last year. All right, good way to start it out. Now we're going to get into the actual top 10 list. And here's the number 10 coin for you. We have another silver, this time in 1967. Kennedy. This one is adorned in a silver-clad 40%. Obverse toned on this one. Again, you know, it shows some of the more prettier colors of the toning. All the while in the middle, you do get some of the lighter splotchy kind of russet brown is what I call it. But some of that green and yellow or gold on the outside periphery of the coin is quite attractive. This one looks like it could have been a roll ender at one point because the reverse is completely toned free. As a matter of fact, I'm probably 98% sure this was a roll ender, which is pretty neat. In my book. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus, much like the previous coin. As far as pop numbers, this is a Pop 8 with none finer, so this is indeed the highest grade of this coin. This one ended up selling for $3,600 on May 8th. All right, so just a day apart from the previous coin that we looked at on the list. Very nice, attractive coin. All right, so we're at number 9 here, and we have, this time, another silver. How about a 1969D Kennedy? This one, from the looks of it, no frills, no toning. It's just a blast white example that probably came out of a BU roll at one point. It just has that look of a coin that was stuck in a paper roll for decades, and someone decided to go through them in the hopes of finding either a variety, an error, or a high-grade specimen like this one. Good-looking example, very, very lustrous, as most examples are from this early period of Kennedys. This one is a PCGS Mid-State 67 this time around. A little bit higher pop numbers here as we have a Pop 28. There are actually 5 other examples that graded higher compared to this one. And this particular example ended up selling for quite a nice amount of money, $4,050. And that was on October 2nd. The number 8 coin coming up here. So we're in the top ocho, and we have our first clad, ladies and gentlemen, a 1982p. Probably considered one of the mushiest strikes of the entire series. It's probably one of the least attractive based off of that stat, but also the luster can be absolutely dismal on a early 80s Kennedy. And you could say from 1980 to about 1985. Some of those mid-state coins left a lot to be desired, but I'm glad to see that at least there is one survivor with a pretty nice clean obverse. The obverse tends to be really beat up on 1982. This particular example is a coin that graded out as a really nice mid-state 67 plus. The pop numbers are unfathomable. It's a Pop 1, none finer. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the finest graded example of an 82p, and it ended up selling in 2022. This one right here sold for $4,050, just like the previous coin did on the same day. So I'm kind of wondering if maybe there was a Kennedy $50 collector that ended up dissolving their registry set and sold them on the same day, which Great Collections is known to do. They're known to be kind of like the go-to hotspot for registry set sales, and you know, that might have been the case here. All right, we are at lucky number 7, and what does this one have to hold for us is another copper nickel clad. 1974, again, a date that you wouldn't consider to be anywhere sniffing a top 10 list of any type, but again, people that are specializing in this series specifically are paying a lot of money for top flight coins. This one, no exception whatsoever. 1974 is not a date that I would consider to be one to be high on anybody's list, but as long as it grades at the highest level, who really cares? And that's what this one is. This is our sole NGC graded example, a mid-state 68. Now keep in mind, PCGS has no mid-state 68s on their population reports. 67 plus, I believe, is the highest grade for PCGS. Assuming that this is probably the highest grade in NGC plastic, a PCGS registry set will take this one in as well. This one sold for $4,385.25 on December 4th. So great to see this one here. A really oddball specimen of probably a really high caliber. This coin is very clean. Number 6 coming up here with, yet again, another 64, but this time we got the proof version of the Kennedy half dollar. These were minted in Philadelphia. This coin is a stunner. It's probably one of the cleanest looking proof strikes that you will ever come across. Lots of white, just really frosty details on this one, offset to those black kind of like black mirrory kind of like watery fields. It's like it's a stunner. All right, and as long as coins look like this, and by the way, if you crack open a proof set, more times than not, you're not going to find anything that's quite this cameo contrasted. Good looking coin, and this one right here is a PCGS proof 69. Deep cameo is the designation on there. Pretty high population numbers, which means there's quite a few of these that people have graded over the years. It's a pop 123. 123. There are none graded higher. There are no 70s of this coin. I think that's what people were gunning for, and that's why the pop numbers are pretty big. This is a coin that ended up selling for $4,615.88 on March 27th. All right, we are officially into the top 5, so let's crack into it with a NIFC. That always tongue twists me quite a bit. The not intended for circulation issues. These were produced by the Mint and sold directly from the Mint website. So, these weren't supposed to be sent out into circulation. And more than likely, people that did buy these ended up getting the rolls. They inspected the coins in the hopes of finding a top flight graded coin. Again, that's kind of like the theme for this video. So this one right here ended up graded as a mid-state 68 plus. It's a beautiful, very satiny coin, which is, as long as they have no nicks or dents or scratches on them, these coins are going to have like a completely different look than anything from 20 years prior. It's just like night and day. So mid-state 68 plus, it's a pop 2 graded at this level, none finer. And this one, ladies and gentlemen, ended up selling for $4,952.25 on August 7th. Number 4, we have a 1973D. This is actually a really cool coin in the sense that it's managed to retain this kind of like light olive green toning for many years, because normally a toned progressed coin doesn't stay at the green kind of level for too long. They end up moving on to blues and more terminal colors. So this one right here, there's a lot of personality to this coin that a collector or a registry set aficionado of this sort would fall in love with something like this. So this particular example, graded mid-state 68, another top flight, really heavy graded coin. It's a pop 1, none finer. It's the sole finest example of a 73D, and this one sold for $5,400 on May 1st of last year. Okay, we are finally on the top 3 here, and number 3, we have yet again, another 1969D. And before I got into making this video, I was aiming to do all different dates. Because otherwise, if I didn't, it would be overrun with a lot of 1964s. There was a lot of 1964s business strike and proof struck examples just littering the top of the list. And I'm glad to have talked about at least one of each of those, but I had to do a double spot on a 69D, mostly because of the toning. The previous example that we saw earlier in this video had no toning whatsoever. It was just a blast white outer roll specimen. This one, however, looks like it could have been another roll ender. It's got that semi-clean reverse on there. Very, very rainbow-like on its surface there. Pretty cool, and there's going to be a lot of people that really do want this. Here's our other NGC graded specimen. This is a Mid-State 67 Plus with a star, which denotes the eye appeal, the toning on here, and it's also QA certified, which is a modern equivalent to CAC. So people would normally send their more modern graded coins to QA to get this sticker certification. They also have a green, or rather a gold QA sticker, which is kind of like a completely different level on its own. Pop numbers, I know in PCGS it's a pop 5. Don't know what it is with NGC, but I think more on this particular coin. It's the toning rather. Sorry about that. That really kind of wins the day. This one won a lot of bidders on here. This one ended up selling for $7,667.61, and that was on August 28th of just last year. All right, so we are at the top two, and make no mistake, we have two 1964s. Now, this is another Proof 64. However, it's different than the previous one that we saw earlier in this video, in that this is an accented hair variety. All right, so it's got the extra engraved lines in Kennedy's hair right here, and it also has the cut-off serif of the eye as shown here as well. So you want to make sure that you kind of look at both. What else is there to say about this coin? This has been a chase-worthy piece for decades. It's been known ever since the beginning as being a variety that people need to be on the lookout for. Deep cameo, frosty specimens like this one are always kind of like the big chase piece. It's a real lottery find. And this one right here is a Proof 69 deep cameo. It's the best of the best. But here's the crazy part. This has a Pop 67 number, and there is a lot of these examples out there. However, this is like one of the more valuable coins in this particular grade, and it's certainly probably one of the biggest coins that you can search for and look and identify and attribute pretty easily. The accented air, there's no other variety in the series that comes close to providing lots of potential. This one, yeah, a huge price jump from the previous coin at $43,312.50, and that was a coin sale just recently, December 4th, and right before the Christmas season got started there. So yeah, I mean, pretty crazy. We went from a coin that was $7,600 to $43,000, where the population is 67. Wow. So what coin took the top spot? There's one more, and as you guys would guess, it is indeed an SMS strike coin. These are kind of a fable, only because a lot, I believe all of the SMS sets that were created in 64, and keep in mind, they only made proof coins for sale. They were going to do SMS coins from 65 to 67, so these are kind of like trial strikes, but these were given away during this time. Don't know how they were dispersed or whatever, but there's only a handful of sets that include the Lincoln cent, the Jefferson nickel, Roosevelt dime, the Washington quarter, and the Kennedy half dollar all in one set, all SMS strikes. That's what this one looks like here. Looks like the coin has been cleaned, but that's really what the coin is supposed to look like. It'll have all of these wispy kind of like file lines all over the fields. It's kind of crazy. This will look it's unlike any other coin that you will come across. And if you compare it to a regular 64 business strike or a proof coin, they're like worlds apart. If you've ever held one of these in hand, which I have at a coin show probably like 5 years ago, they look completely different. So if you think you have them, more than likely not, because all of these SMS sets are accounted for out there in the world today. This one here, SP67 Plus, does say SMS right on the holder. And this one, this is the top dog, sold for $56,250, and this was on June 19th. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to wrap up the top 11 priciest candy half dollars to have sold last year. Quite the nice stacked list, and quite a nice variety, from copper nickel clad to silver, toned, not toned, blast white. It's a really good diverse group, and I would expect that we're going to see some pretty big sales here in 2023, as folks are looking to continue their pursuit for the finest. And there's always going to be a large group of people that are going to be submitting these to the grading companies to help fulfill that need. So that's it. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to hit the like button, share, subscribe, do whatever you want. Hit your boy up with a little bit extra of support. That'd be awesome. I'm also on TikTok at Blue Ridge Silverhound. If you like the much shorter videos, that's where I upload a lot of them. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next coin video. So long.